Hi there, today I'm talking all about what you need to have in place before you are ready to leave your 9 to 5 and go all in with your entrepreneurial journey. That moment when the safety net is taken away, when everyone says, you're crazy, you're leaving a good job and you've got security and safety. And that's the point when a lot of people just go, I'll just carry it on as a side hustle, then it'll fizzle out. And here's the thing, I want to share with you the things that I believe are incredibly important to have in place before you leave your 9 to 5, so that you're in a really strong position to say, burn the bridges, burn the ship down, I'm not going back, this is my future. This is me creating my own lifestyle business. Hi there and welcome. I'm Sue Parker and today I'm sharing 7 things that I believe you need to have in place before you ditch that 9 to 5. And I know how difficult that decision is. You kind of have to make a mental shift, then you have to help everybody in your life kind of make the mental shift with you as well, to take that dream off the shelf and say, do you know what, I'm ready to dictate my own hours. I'm ready to be my own boss and have that determination, that drive, that discipline. I also want to earn my worth and I want to do work that I'm passionate about, and I'm just going to keep going with this. I'm really going to be a go-getter. And to do that, you need to have certain things in place to know that you're in a good position, you're in a strong position in which to make that jump. So I'm going to try and keep this session to 20 minutes. I'm going to start to do these sessions slightly shorter, so that if you're like me, you're working when you were starting the side hustle, so you needed to have something that was like, give me the information and then give me time to implement it, because all you end up doing is consuming, don't you? You don't get the time to make it sort of work. So the first thing I want to do is talk about why entrepreneurship in 2022. Why is it so booming? Why are there record numbers of startup businesses starting now? Well, we only have to look at the Great Resignation, don't we? People are looking for more work-life balance, more flexibility, more freedom, and you're probably exactly the same. You've had this pandemic where you got to work from home. You experienced something that felt like a little bit more freedom, and now all of a sudden your boss is dictating when you're in the office, when you're not, and then you're back to the normality of, well, I'd like to go and experience life. I've discovered that it might be a bit different now, but the pandemic has shown us life is for living and there's so much more you want to do. And the other thing is, the way employers are wanting to resource teams is changing as well. They're going a lot more freelance, project-based, outsourcing just a project, or saying, bring the resource in or the support or the talent in when I need to facilitate a project. We've seen that so many times with big corporates. They're not building massive teams anymore. They're not insourcing everything. They're going, let's hire an expert to do my design for my website. Let's hire an expert to build the website. Let's go hire a firm or a consultant or a freelancer to do this project for us. They're not thinking, how do I hire all these people and have these people on the books? Because A, they want to be lean after the pandemic, and B, they don't really know what they want a full-time employee to be. If you ask them most of the time, they don't understand what that FTE is. The other thing is, if you are a parent and you want, or you're going to be one day in the future, so this is also for our younger audience, if you're thinking, I'm not yet a parent, but I kind of want the freedom lifestyle, Sue, but should I still be listening? Yes, absolutely, but in a balanced parent life, where the shared responsibility, mum and dad are active in the children's life. They both want to attend the sports events. They both want to do pickups and drop-offs. Well, the reality is equality, as much as we've been pushing it in the corporate sector, equality and diversity, there still isn't a great deal. There's still a gender pay gap, but also it affects both parents if there's a presentism request. So it's like, in order to be successful in a corporate career, there's still an element of presentism. Being there long hours, doing the social events, but being generally, you can imagine what I'm talking about here, can't you? In that male-dominated environment, but being all in. And that means having somebody at home who will take care of everything else, all the life admin, all the, meals, all the pickups, all the drop-offs. Well, which one of you is going to sacrifice that if you're in an equal relationship? Now, I don't know about you, but I see a lot of men who really want to be involved in their children's lives, but they make a sacrifice to progress their career. I see a lot of women struggling with that sacrifice because they don't feel that they should. Now, I'm pro whatever you want to do, but what I do know is entrepreneurship gives you the best of both. Literally, you could all do anything you want because you will dictate the hours you do. You will tell clients when you will work, and you will tell clients what you will do for them. And the point is, we're buying value and service here, and not necessarily the hours that you're actually sitting in the office for or doing something else. The other thing that I think is great about entrepreneurship is because you can choose something that you find purposeful and passionate. You can use additional skills that you're perhaps not using in the silo of your job. So that means that you're intrinsically more motivated to do it. Whereas you might be thinking, okay, I started this soul-sucking job. I realized all I'm asked to do is this, but I've got ideas over here, but I can't do them because they're above my station, or I just don't have the flexibility to use all my ideas and all my potential. And that's the thing, entrepreneurship, you do what you want and you outsource the stuff you don't want to do. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. It means you can work in a sector you love, you can do the thing you're passionate about, you can use all your potential, and you can feel completely empowered and in control of that. And to me, that level of fulfillment, knowing that your life's work matters to you, is incredibly important to that feeling of motivation and fulfillment. It is just huge, isn't it? And then the other thing is, with a corporate career or with any job, you're exchanging time for money. And here's the thing, how do you start earning when you're not in the office, when you're not physically at your laptop or your desk? Well, you can't in that sort of environment. You have to start figuring out other income streams outside of your job that you then feed that money into to make work. Well, here's the thing, entrepreneurship allows you to generate semi-passive and passive income streams so that, yes, you earn money while you're sleeping. You earn money on your days off because you're selling digital products, or you're selling something that is a package or a membership or something else that works, or a product that can just be sold when you're not physically there delivering it or doing something. You can still be selling it. So I think that's incredibly valuable. Okay, so let's crack on with the 7 things that you need to have in place before you're ready to ditch your 9 to 5. So the first thing is, the last thing we want to do is ditch a career we didn't want to do, a career we got railroaded in that we reflect on and think, I hate this, how did I end up here, into a business that you hate. So this is where you get clear on what your life vision is. And I say your life vision because you want a business that's going to work around your life. So draw out what your life looks like, the type of things you want to do, the activities that make you come alive, the engagement, the type of person you are, and your passions and interests. And then build your business vision around that. Having clarity on that means researching, putting content out there, exploring, doing something. For my first one, it was leadership coaching. And then I realized that, wow, I'm still really frustrated for these women. They're doing all the right things, but they keep having to prove themselves over and over again. You know, my frustrations with the equality and diversity in the leadership sector, in the corporate world, in that job setting was so high that I always had this value conflict internally that made me say, why am I helping these women do this when I know full well they'd be better off just starting their own thing and doing the thing that they're amazing at in a world and creating their own dream life. The second thing is to surround yourself with supportive people and your mastermind. So this is about when it gets tough, and it will get tough, there'll be a bump in the road. Who's going to help you to get over that? Who's going to help you to focus and keep going and give you that support? Because I'll bet, like me, you were surrounded by people who all have a job. They just go through the motions. They're still being passive. They're not challenging it. They don't consider striving for more or doing doing a business. So, like, you're surrounded by people who are just going through the motions. How do you find the people who are like, I'm like you. How do I fit this in? How do I make this work? How do I do this? How do I do that? And the people who are going to help you when it gets tough, because it will. You've got to do a lot of mindset work, and it's ongoing. It's kind of like, I can have these really big periods of being so confident, such a go-getter, this is going to work, to then having really long periods of feeling like a failure. It's never going to work. And only by having that mastermind, be it virtual, people I have calls with all the time, being in a group, having that accountability, but only by having those people do I keep going on? You've probably heard it before that you are a combination of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So think about those 5 people. Are they negative? Are they not as driven as you? Are they not doing the things you're doing? Then find people who are and fill that circle, fill that mastermind for you. And that's definitely number 2. And it's probably one of the most important things. It's definitely something I delayed, but it's something that makes a massive difference. Now, it will come as no surprise that number 3 is tackling your fear of failure and your success mindset. Yes, this is one that you're going to keep going on and on and on. I want to tell you a story about the captain who took his army to an island. He asked them to disembark the ship and then to set fire to it. The army were there to fight in a battle, and they all looked at him to say, well, what do we do if we set fire to our ship? How do we escape? And the captain said, it's simple. What's our option? We win this battle. And of course they did win, because there was no get out plan. There was no backup. There was no other option. People who have this feeling of necessity, I must do this. This is the kind of language that entrepreneurs use. What must we do next? They don't give up. If you think of the Michelle Mone story, if you've ever had the pleasure of reading about Michelle Mone and her story, there were many parts in her early entrepreneurial journey of creating her business where she almost went bankrupt. She had to get things on to lorries in the snow, and her entire team had to run down a hill with all their stock to get them into the department store. Otherwise, they wouldn't be selling them that year. There was many scenarios where the entrepreneur asks, what do I need to do? And that's what I want you to do. I want you to think about, I am going to fail, but when I do that bump in the road, what do I need to do next? Don't give up and go back to the day job. And this is the kind of thing, is because we have that safety net, we've experienced a 9 to 5, we feel like it's a consistent, and we're conditioned that it's a stable income, then we always fall back on that. And I think this is kind of like a mindset thing where if you keep pressing the brake pedal because you're like, I'm doing the right things, but I'm not really all in. I don't really think it's going to be working. And if I fail, I'll just go back to this. You're kind of never really going all in. You're never doing that determination, that go-getter, that necessity piece that says, I'm determined this is going to work and I'm going to make it happen. You're never really doing that. So that's the third thing I want you to address. The fourth one is you're going to start to create content. The reason you're going to start to create content is it's going to do 3 things. The first one is it's going to give you massive clarity on what is your vision, what is your business. It will really help you to get that clear, because initially you'll draft it out and you'll be like, oh, I'm not really sure. I spent ages looking at mine going, is this even a business? And that sort of thing doesn't come until you put content out there and you start to get clear on, my niche. Actually, I really want to help these people. This is the questions, the type of questions I can answer, all that kind of stuff. The second thing it'll do is it'll give you visibility and credibility as an influencer. This is incredibly important. You are in such a strong position when you've got a 9 to 5 and you're side hustling, but someone Googles your name because you've asked to speak on their podcast, or you want to get involved in something with them, or you've commented on their stuff and they're like, who's this person? They Google you and you've got a blog, or you've got a series of articles that you've written that you've put out there. You've got a really prominent LinkedIn profile with loads of articles and posts on there. You've clearly got a YouTube channel. When someone Googles your name, they must find content written, authored by you. You then become the expert. So building up that content is really important, not so for visibility, credibility, and also the third reason why we build content is to create a following. You have a following, then you have an audience. So moving on to number 5 is building that following. So you're creating content, and then number 5, you've got to try and build that following. Build it by putting the content out there, by sharing it. Build it by engaging in their comments, by listening and learning. Build the following so that when you finally do ditch your 9 to 5, you've got an audience to launch your product to, and you're not starting completely from scratch. Which means I go on to number 6. Number 6 is one thing you can really do before you leave your 9 to 5 is you can test them with a low ticket product. This is like, I've got a bunch of warm prospects who are my following. I've put content out there to get some visibility and credibility. Now let's test you with a really low ticket price product. It can be a guide, a mini training. It could be a masterclass with me, a live. It could be absolutely anything. But this mini product or, planner or physical product you want to produce, this is the thing that will help to test that audience and give you some boost. So maybe £20, £25, £19, is a really good number to start off. You can even do a little bonus where you can add on an extra £7 bolt-on product and see how many people pick that up. But you're keeping it simple with a £20 product. And here's what you're going to do. That is going to give you so much of a boost if somebody buys it. You will be like, wow, I actually sold something online passively. I created it, I put upfront work in, but I could sell this over and over and over again perhaps. And also you're going to print off that first transaction, that first sale, and you're going to stick it on your wall. That's going to be like your big motivator that you can do this. I know a guy who has a £1 billion company now, and 30 years ago when they started, they had their first transaction and it's now framed on his office wall. I know that he will have had that framed on his office wall for a long time. That will have been his motivator. He will have been so driven by the fact that he made that first sale. So whether you're, I don't want to talk about being obsessed with money, because this is all about creating an income that supports the lifestyle you want. This is about creating your life more than anything, your dream life. But by doing that, it sets your mindset to say, I can do this. It works. It really works. And maybe if you promote it a bit more, it'll go again, again, again. When you're doing this little product, it's really good to learn from it, to rinse and repeat and do the same exercise over and over again, building that product, maybe even doing a little bit more expensive one. But the point is, you've got your 9 to 5, you've got your side hustle, you've got something that you can actually fit in on the side. And bear in mind, when you do things like this, it also gives you more of an incentive to say, I'm going to put more time into my side hustle while I've got my 9 to 5. I'm now going to come home and do a few hours work. Even though I'm tired, I'm still going to do it, because now I can see the impact of what it's having. By having the followers and by following those metrics, you can see the impact. By making a sale, you can see the impact. You're starting to create that momentum in your journey. And the last one, number 7, is probably the most boring, but also the biggest thing that holds us back is our money, isn't it? So when it comes to your finances, you need to have a couple of things in place. Number 1, you need to know what is your peace of mind fund, the amount of money that you believe you need to have in order to give up your 9 to 5. It can be like, your little savings pot that keeps you going for a few months before you run out of money, or, whatever it is. And that might be a family amount, that might be a decision. It might mean scaling back. I had to resort out my mortgage. We had to downsize initially. We had to do all sorts of things so that we could guarantee our long-term growth. But here's the thing, that bit feels really mean. That bit feels like I'm heading in the wrong direction. I'm going backwards. I have a worse car than I had before. I have less money to spend. We're not doing as much socially, and we've scaled back on the house. Well, it does, but here's the deal. Your second thing that you're going to do related to money is your sales forecasts. And this is where your eyes will widen and you will say, wow, I can do this. So working out with the types of products and services that you want to offer, including some semi-passive and passive models on there. Let's do some sale forecasts. How much of that £20 product are you going to sell? How much of a £50 product? How much of a £100 and £199 or £1,000 product are you going to sell? Work out your first 12 months in quarters. So quarter 1, 2, 3, 4. How much do I need to sell by day, week, and month to earn my target? And then do second year, third year, and fourth year, and fifth year. You do a 5-year plan. What you'll realize is by year 5, you are at least quadrupling the amount of money, or you should be aiming to, the amount of money that you will earn in paid employment in your 9 to 5. And then that setback initially doesn't feel so bad. It actually feels like, you know what, in 5 years' time, my future self will really thank me for all this work. So let's have a quick recap of those 7, and then we can take some action. You can go away and start to think, right, which ones have I checked off and which ones do I need to? And let me pop that in a little checklist for you, actually. So the first one is knowing your vision, your purpose, your mission, and your life vision. That's incredibly important. I don't want you to build something that means you're working all the hours that you absolutely hate. Number 2 is get your mastermind, your accountability buddies, the support network in place for you. Number 3 is address that fear of failure and your success mindset. Number 4 is creating that incredible content that will raise your visibility, that will get you noticed, that will generate your confidence and do so much more. Number 5 is building your following, your raving fans that are going to buy from you. Number 6 is to sell them a low ticket profit product. Let's test the market. Let's do that. Number 7 is get your money in order. Get your money in order now and get your plan, your sales forecast in order to really start to go and get it. Hopefully that will inspire you to have some fantastic ideas for when you'll be able to ditch your 9-to-5, when you will feel that you'll be ready. Now remember that you may have some additional things that you want to look at personally, like I talked about remortgaging or downsizing or other things that will make it more sustainable for you. Maybe you have a massive savings plan where you want to save up over the next 2 years to have enough peace of mind fund so that you can ditch your 9-to-5. Whatever it is, make it work for you. I believe in you, and these 7 steps will really help to add to the security and the comfort of you finally, can you imagine that day, finally leaving your job to become a full-time entrepreneur on your terms. For now, have a fantastic week. I can't wait to hear from you. I'm hello@sueparker.io, or you can head over to sueparker.io, the website, and I would love to hear your comments on this one. Take care, folks, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.